What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. I want to talk about how I was able to recover from a down $800 day, claw it back to break even, and the biggest lessons that I found throughout the entire session, because it could have been a whole lot better. Should have been a green day. At worst, we got the break even, but it's better than the red day. So let's look at the setups of how this whole day unfolded. So you can see quite a bit of trades. I think it was maybe 4 or 5, but break evens are going to be the biggest point of all. And this is my trade Zell here talking about the snowball effect. But first, let's go over the setups themselves. What started the day? So first things first, we were on ES here at the open. Actually, my first trade was on NQ. So let's go over there. On NQ, you can see we have a nice bullish open, higher highs and higher lows. We actually took out just barely the open range high. Not chasing the first break, right? This one didn't run at all. But seeing it come back and respect that New York view up, I really like that higher low. I play the bounce play. We're still inside the open range, but I like the higher lows so far. And the 15-minute was telling me to look for longs as well. We could pop that open over here on the left as well. You can see we're back above the daily view up here at the open, looking for a nice long continuation. And I don't win this trade. This one ends up at a break even as it goes 0.98R, whatever you want to call it, right? Once this bar didn't close full at 1R, this is probably like 0.8. So now I'm waiting for the next candle to hopefully push up and hit my take profit. It does not, and I get hit for a break even trade. So that's very, very aggravating of being floating up $500, walking away with nothing. So I give it some time, not much time. But then we go over to ES just after that. I guess I could have played it on NQ as well. Then we're over here on ES. This is the same thing. This is about the time I'm getting stopped out break even when it's pulling back. But it respects New York VWAP again. Almost our third higher low now. We're respecting New York VWAP. I have a strong long bias today. This is my key level. I should be in this trade. So again, I play the bounce play. You could put on a high day VWAP. You can see buyers do try to take it there, but quickly fail and come back lower. So I go from taking a break-even trade, what should have been a winner, to maybe now being inclined to have to take another trade because I should be up, but man, I just gave back my money. So now let's go take another trade and try to make that money back. But I actually take a losing trade. So instead of being up $500, I'm actually down $500. So that's really a $1,000 P&L swing, really just from not securing profits on that first trade. Many times I look at all of your trade Zellers or whoever sends me links to their trades on ASFX TV. That first trade plays a huge role in the rest of that outcomes throughout the rest of the day. Because if you were to bag that first trade for a winner, would you even be looking at this trade? Would you even take that second trade so soon? Or would you be fine being patient for the next best setup? That maybe I did only take this because I'm a little annoyed that I just didn't secure that win. So now I feel like I got to get it back. Then I take this trade where if I was up on that first trade, maybe I don't take this one. But since I'm not up on the first trade, let's go find some money. So that was the first big lesson of having self-awareness to realize, are you aggravated? Are you annoyed? Are you pissed off at yourself of not making a winner and actually taking a loss within 20, 30 minutes of each other? And it's a Friday. Do you quickly go off tilt and ruin your entire week? Or do you slow it down, reel it in, assess what just happened and not want to blow yourself up too much and say, okay, what happened, happened. What is my next course of action? Am I reading the markets correctly? Was that a good trade? Should I have gotten in that? I think I should have been in this trade. So I'm not upset that I took this setup. It's just annoying that, oh, wow, I could have been green, but instead I'm actually red. But I think this setup that I took is very viable, fits my plan. I should be in it. So I can't really be too mad at myself. I mean, I'm a little annoyed I didn't make money in the first one, but I didn't tilt trade this. This is still to my plan. It's just a healthy loser. So then we come back later on. We look at the markups here because there's a lot of trades. So first things first, there's the first long. Here's the rest of the day. We can go over on TradingView. Here's just all the notes if you want to screenshot it, save it, read all the notes of what I was thinking at that time. But we don't rush right back into the market. So we take that break even and a loss. But then at that time, if you turn on the initial balance, you can see we actually did slightly break it to the downside. And if you see my videos here, you know I'm playing that really strong single break stat. I could turn on the initial balance here. The high of day is that initial balance high. Then we probably only break one side. So being that we took out this bottom here, I should probably be looking for shorts the rest of the day. And it's interesting. It comes super close. So maybe buyers tried to get in there. People chase that higher. And it comes right back down and loses because it probably didn't want to double break up here. So definitely check out Edgeful. That's a huge stat to be aware of, or else you probably would be easily induced back into the longs that didn't work back here either on my first trade. But then I see it make its way back for a new low a day. Okay, nice. There's another solid break of it. I don't love this entry because I preach it all the time of I like to see a nice healthy pullback. So I took the short here once We break, I think it was over here, once we break the lower day VWAP. But it's a tight pullback. It's quick. I don't love selling it so close to the actual low of day, right? I like that healthy pullback, so I could trade it back down to low of day maybe, where this one's like a 3-point difference. I'm pretty much at the lowest price we've been today. But regardless, I had a good stop loss. Let me turn back on the open range high, because that's where the stop loss was. 8 points at the open range high. Let's go get a new low of day for 8 points as well. Maybe the trend is going to stick in now, and we move for a new low of day. Maybe because I took the loss on the first trade, right? The first one was break even, but I took that one loss afterwards. I don't want to lose a lot of money today, obviously. So for whatever reason, I'm on coaching calls. I'm slightly distracted. I'm maybe frazzled that I took that loss after I could have been green on the day, right? That's still lingering in my mind probably, even if I feel like I'm fine about it. So what do? I pull the trade here, right at the New York VWAP, where I'd want it to defend, and it still looks good as long as we're below that. That's why I put a stop loss above it. So for whatever reason, I just incurred a realized loss when the trade is still alive. And it doesn't look bad. I'm just saying I'm down 500. Now I'm down 800 at this point. Do I just cut the bleeding and don't go down 1,000? But again, I'm just trading the P&L and trading my emotions and my frustrations from those first losing trades. That's why I'm definitely pulling this trade. Otherwise, I would have let it just do its thing, respect the New York VWAP, and I wouldn't have taken that second loss. So now I'm actually down 800 at this point. Thankfully, I guess, I got back in saying, what are you doing getting out of that? That just held the New York VWAP. And I was able to trade it back down and make back most of those, that small loss as well as some of that first loss as well. But just a really bad exit on that trade because it's not telling me I'm wrong or I should be out of this. I'm just trading my emotions and the P&L figure, not wanting for it to be bigger. But who does? Another thing I do like about this is that deeper pullback that I'm talking about. If I took this lower day break after the full retest to this New York VWAP, stop loss is there. That's the trade I should have been in. That's the one you get a nice, clean, easy 1R for. And that one took a nice 30, 40 minutes, I'd assume. 50 minutes, 8-point pullback. It looks a little bit better than this tight one I took here on the first jab lower. So that probably was the trade to be in and not rush into that quick pullback like I did over here. But the biggest lesson is the management was terrible. Why am I pulling that when we're still at the New York VWAP? I think it was that strong bullish bar, obviously, saying, oh, God, we're coming now to the top of the range. But in fact, just made a lower high off a key VWAP and came right back into trend. So poor trading there where it could have, it's just funny looking back on it. All of these trades, I'm now 12 o'clock, I'm on my third trade. I could have just been up $400 if I just realized the gains over there. I could have been done for the week, done for the day, up $400. But instead I take a break even, then a loss, and now another loss here, and now I have to try to make it back. I'm on my fourth trade. How quickly things snowball when it was really just one good trade in the beginning of the day that didn't have the outcome that it should have if I had proper management. So an interesting day to say the least. But we're still down on the day because I incurred that small loss when I pulled it early. That we can go over the markups here. I scalped it long back up because I figured that the range was set for the day because NQ at this time, we can even look on it over here. NQ looks pretty much way more bullish than ES. This is around the time that I secured those shorts on ES. It looks like it's way more bullish and its range is set as well. So these two circles here, these other ones, this is about where I'm longing it on ES, even though ES didn't look bullish. NQ did look a lot more bullish, and I figured on the 15-minute here, we look a whole lot more bullish over here on NQ. I don't know if ES is going to have the strength to make new lows of day. I think we're just going to be stuck in the range that we've been set so far. And you go over to ES, that's in fact what happened. So rather than shorting it down here in the 15-minute, rather than shorting it there, I said, I think this is probably going to be the range we're stuck in because NQ is looking like it's bullish, but ES is looking like it's bearish. They're probably just going to tug of war it and just sit sideways here to end the week. And thankfully, I guess my intuition was right because that's exactly what happened. So thankfully, I didn't get induced into more shorts and take on even more losses on the day. I was actually able to find longs, quick scalp longs back up against the trend, I guess you'd say, because I bought it here, I scalped it up here real quick, and then I bought it back again and scalped it up again. Now, the one thing I would say, since I did have that gut feeling that we weren't going to move lower again, let's put on a lower day VWAP. It does break that. So it looks like selling to there, right? Sell it there, stop loss that structure, let's move lower. That's what I would normally be thinking because I'm thinking everyone's going to be seeing these lower highs and lower lows. That does make sense. Maybe I got lucky, but my instincts were saying I don't think we're going to make new lows. We're not really trending today. Bullish is on NQ. ES is looking bearish. How are we going to trend lower here? I don't see that happening. I feel like we're going to chop. So I don't want to be induced into these trending shorts, and I actually wait for the bullish bar, and then I actually was able to long it back up. So rather than getting induced into this short, I was able to scalp it from that point when a bunch of sellers probably got in but lost. So interesting day, tough day to say the least. You go back to the TradeZella here. I just scraped on by. I was down 800, as you can see here, scraped it all back with those two scalps at the end. But the biggest lesson is I have to realize gains. So this is here. You can see my break even. The arrow executions, that's a nice move up. 5 minutes straight up, so close to 1R. Bag your profits, you know. But I was looking for it to run because it's a nice strong open. I have a nice bullish sentiment. Let's pop here. But it did, in fact, not listen to me or not care what I wanted. Surprise, surprise. And then I jump into this ES one and take the loss. So very quickly, I went up $500 to being down $500. Not a great feeling, but the important thing is I was able to scrape it back, which could have, I guess, snowballed even worse because I didn't trade the best. Those are definitely some uncharacteristic longs I took here. Could have ended very badly, but regardless, slowing things down, take profits on those first trades, realize how much of an effect that first trade in any trade the management has on those future trades, whether it was a big win, a big loss, or a break even. It still can sometimes linger and play a role in how you're trading the rest of the day. So that's what I say to people all the time of that first trade. Yes, we're closing at here at 0.9, 0.8R, whatever, but it's so much more important that we do that rather than get stuck at break even, because now you're more likely to do stupid stuff the rest of the day, which just isn't worth trying to stretch that first trade an extra $100, right? I'd much rather close this for $400 than try to get 500 out of it, but instead I get zero. Well, now I went down 800 because I went off tilt and I'm doing stupid stuff, all because I wanted an extra 100 from this first trade. Not worth the risk for the reward that I was going for. So reel it in, have good self-awareness to say, hey, I am annoyed right now. I want that money back, but this is not the way I do it. I'm feeling angry. I'm chasing these emotions. I'm chasing the trades. The chart's not lining up for it. Take a break. Don't get back all the week's gains on a Friday. So thankfully I did not, but I definitely could have, or someone else definitely could have. So reel it on in and play for the long term. If you look at the TradeZella here, these are all on the Tradeify accounts, like I said. So these are all on the straight to sim funded. If you do want to buy these accounts, I'm only running one right now, but I want to figure out the copier for next week so that these numbers can be tripled in theory. Because I had a nice $1,500 week scraping by in this last day. But that could have been a $4,500 week or a $6,000 week just by copying more accounts. So I do have 4 Tradeify accounts. I have all 50K straight to sim funded. I'm also going to pick up 150K straight to sim funded. If you use my name, code Evan Dyer, you actually get 30% off any of these accounts, whether it's the sim, the growth, the advanced, whatever it is. My name as the code is always going to get the most active and the best discount that you can get. So always do that before you buy any accounts so you don't have to pay these full prices. That's first thing. And the second thing is playing the long term. If that was a big red day of, say, let's say 1,000 or 1,500, I just wiped out the whole week's gains on one day. We cannot be doing that. That's really what's always going to keep you in a hamster wheel of not making those payouts that you want. So even if you did tilt a little bit on a Friday, don't make it too big. Know when to step off the desk, all right? So hopefully you guys found value in my pretty shaky trading on a Friday. But the biggest lesson, it's funny, I'm just going to keep saying it. Could have been up $500 at 10:20 in the morning on a Friday and just been done. But instead, break even leads to wanting to take another trade, taking a loss. Well, now I really want to take another trade to get back to at least break even. Another loss. Well, now I really want to keep on trading. How quickly that all spiraled just from one trade going to break even. So in your mind, it's a break even trade. What's the harm? You saw the harm, or the harm that it could be. It leads you to having a day like this. So definitely not beautiful, but thankfully my gut and my experience was able to scrape on by and find some crazy plays, but definitely not what I'm trying to do on a day-to-day basis. I want to be done as early as possible, as stress-free as possible. So it is what it is. But hope you guys found value in it. Make sure to drop a like, leave a comment. And as always, trade safe. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.